Welcome to Blade HQ, everybody. Today is Monday, September 22nd, 2025, and we've got a giant pile of new knives. Today's episode is sponsored by Concept, one of our favorite brands here at Blade HQ. And they've provided two knives for us to give away today in the live stream. You want to get in on those giveaways? Just join us every Monday at noon Mountain Standard here at Blade HQ's YouTube channel, and you could get in on these giveaways yourself. This one is from Tough Knives Design. This one is called the Odd 21. Odd 21. I always get Odd 21 and Odd 1 out, but there we go. But this one's kind of cool. It's a Tough Knives design, so a very well-respected custom maker here in America. And this one is a much more attainable production version of it with a full titanium handle, bronze anodized from behind the black coating, so it really has that pop to it, kind of gives it a gladiator, battle-worn vibe. And what I love is this high-polished DLC-coated blade that has the same geometry of a dagger you might kind of get, same sort of tactical vibes, but still a very tall grind for slicing and everyday cutting. A great tool for the knife enthusiast. And the other one they have today, it comes from another guy who's a very big name in the knife community, showing that they really do their homework. From Javi Garcia, we have the Nahual, N-A-H-A-U-L, I want to say. Tell me how to say that in the comments. I'm gonna butcher every foreign language there is. I'm an American boy and I only speak one, but this is a really cool knife. It has a nice sheep's foot blade, which is one of the best for everyday carry, a Damascus steel blade, and I love this handle with the copper foil carbon fiber. One thing I will say though, I hope there's a Mexican blanket version of this because Javi Garcia is often credited as the creator of Mexican blanket micarta. A little bit of a knife history lesson there for you. But it's a lot of fun, and we love Concept for making great knives from great designers that you know and love for great prices. All right, without further ado, let's start. First of all, we have a bit of an announcement. These guys have landed. You can add these to cart right now at bladehq.com. This is the Chaves Redencion X-Lock, and this is the cheapest Chaves to date. These go for like 80 bucks, and you're getting a nice D2 blade, tanto or drop point, and a black anodized aluminum handle. And my favorite thing, it comes out of the box with this milled clip, but you can also swap it out for the included skull clip if that's your vibe. And honestly, if you're getting a Chaves, I certainly hope that's your vibe because that is so iconic to Chaves. These ones are here, they've been long anticipated, and you can get them right now. But the first new knife on the table we have is from Microtech. This is the Ultratech Gen IV. Now I hear a lot of you saying like, well, didn't they just come out with the ZBP? What's different? Well, this is what's different. A lot of folks out there aren't necessarily jazzed on the ZBP. They're like, I carried an Ultratech for years. I didn't mind a little bit of rattle, but I don't necessarily want to pay the premium for the zero blade play. And that is where this comes in. A crazy price, $299 getting you this guy with the M390 MK blade. The same buttery smooth action with the crud cutters and the dual fuel drivetrain and the same Torx hardware and everything. Coming in some more anodized colors. Same really nice pocket clip, just no ZBP. That's really the only difference here, and it shaves a pretty big margin off that price. So if you've been looking to get into an Ultratech that you can carry around and really put through its paces, beat the tar out of, this is probably the best place to start because even though it doesn't have the zero blade play mechanism, it locks up really well, very respectably by OTF standards, even though it isn't quite as fixed blade rock solid as the ZBP. But that is a great one from Microtech. Thank you for coming out with that for us. Next up from Benchmade, we have this guy. This is the PSK, which I believe stands for Pocket Survival Kit. And it is a knife that you can beat the tar out of. However, once again, this one's a fair bit more budget friendly than the older PSK with the Magna Cut blade. This one goes for $325, and one of the big differences is this one has an LMAX blade. And we're seeing a lot of LMAX coming out these days, especially from companies like Benchmade, because we had a bit of a wondering if Crucible was going to continue being able to produce at quantity. I think they will be. You can check out some more resources from Laren on how the Crucible situation is going. But we're seeing a lot of bowler steels like this one, which is the LMAX, coming out of Benchmade. And this one's kind of fun. It's got the G10, and instead of the carbon fiber up here, it's G10 as well. But you still get the nice color contrast and a very nice safety mechanism in the back as well. These are going for $325, and it is just a great knife all the way around. Also, not too many assisted knives in the premium price point. I know a lot of you guys out there really like the assist, because if it's a dirty pivot or something, you're still guaranteed a consistent and effective open, but oftentimes you find them in the more budget-friendly stuff, and if you want to really level up your assisted game, Zero Tolerance and Benchmade are kind of the only names in the game, and this is definitely the newest contender, and it's a great one. Next up, keeping it Benchmade and keeping it LMAX, we have some new colorways and LMAX blades on the Benchmade Taggedout, right in time for hunting season. And I think this one's kind of fun because oftentimes when we think of hunters, we think like camo, your foresty greens, or bright orange. But there's a lot of other colors and a lot of other biomes that people are hunting in. And I think Benchmade knows that. There's a lot of hunters over there. And they kind of give you some colors that fit something like if you're going tundra and you're hunting muskoxen or something, then you're probably going to want to go with this. And then here in Utah, we have brush, a lot of browns and dull greens. And I think this would be the more biome appropriate there for you. So whatever kind of hunter you are, there's a Taggedout for you. And this is just a great hunting knife. Look how thin this blade is and how tall this grind is. It's going to be super easy to use for skinning, slicing, boning, whatever, and then it all just folds down, and this thing is so light. It weighs less than 3 ounces. Really, really good knife for all of your hunting needs out there, at a pretty good price too. These are going for $210 at BladeHQ.com right now. Next up from ProTech, we got a ton of new stuff. We won't go too much into models because you know them and love them, but this one is the Malibu. We have a reverse Tanto MagnaCut blade, and they have the dragon scale here. And what I love is how they've distressed it, so just the tops of these dragon scales really pop. I think it looks so cool. The teenager reading the Aragon books inside me is like, this knife is so cool, the Saphira knife. Anyway, I'm a giant nerd if you didn't know, but this knife is awesome, and just the same amazing action that you get on all the ProTech button locks, just like the one in my pocket, which we'll talk about more in a minute. Next up, we have the Godson, which is also one of the most iconic ones. This one looks very similar to the ones you know. However, this one's a 20 CV blade instead of the 154 CMs. You're going to get quite a bit more edge retention there, and a mother of pearl button. Just a little bit dressed up from the Godson you know and love. Also, even though the TR3 Integrity, which is what I've been carrying, is out, which is the manual version of the TR3, they have not forgotten their roots with the TR3. So I know a lot of you guys love that auto. So the TR3 SWAT is here, and they just came out with another run of these. So these ones have the straight line grip, keeps the weight down, gives you a little bit more something to hold on to. This one's got the same 154 CM blade, gonna be nice and easy to sharpen, but still tough enough to handle all the weird stuff you may be doing. And one of the snappiest autos in the business. Very nicely done, ProTech. And then lastly, we have these really beautiful blue versions on the Runt 5. So the blue just really pops. One thing I love about ProTech is whoever's doing their anodizing is not afraid to give it, like if they're gonna do a color, they're gonna do a color. And they did that here. I love this little, like, I dare call it knurling instead of jimping right there. It gives you a really nice purchase on the knife. A great everyday carry auto, and it's California legal for all of you folks in the big western state. Then on to the next brand of Remette. And this one is the Cool Whale, which is just such a fun name for a knife. And this one's kind of fun because not only is it a very usable design with a very comfortable handle and a nice slicey blade with a flipper and a thumb stud for however you want to open it, but it's also available in two sort of premiumness levels, starting with the I don't want to say lower end, the more budget-friendly version that has a bit of a less of a premium blade steel and a laminate handle. They'll start at 42 bucks. Not bad at all for a knife of this quality and of this size. So those are nice. And then if you want to get these full titanium ones that just look so good, those ones go to 223 with a few different flavors out there and a lot of milling and a very comfortable gripping experience. What I like about these ones also is you get a compound grind on a powder steel. So there's a lot of extra benefits you get there for going up to that higher price tier, but those budget-friendly ones are also gonna be super easy to cut with and everything too. So whatever kind of a knife shopper you are, there's a Remette Cool Whale for you. Next up, we've got a bunch of new stuff from CRKT, including all of them, this fun titanium nitride coating. So this is a PVD coating. It's often used on drill bits and the like. And this one happens to be the HangTi. So it is a titanium handle, like titanium everything all the way through. And it has a sharpened edge with a chisel grind. So titanium won't give you the same like toughness and edge retention of steel, but what it will give you is extreme corrosion resistance and very lightweight. I am not even joking here. I'm pretty sure this lanyard and this bead weigh more than the knife, just because of how light the titanium is and how heavily milled it is. And it's a great price on this guy, $69.99 for this tiny keychain-sized Kiridashi style knife. Very fun. However, if a knife isn't quite your thing, you can also get the HangPry, which is still titanium. A bit heavier because it's a bit bigger, but this one's just a pry bar. Has a bit of a wedge here for opening stuff. And I know that a lot of folks out there don't have a need for an EDC pry bar, but I'll tell you, when you need an EDC pry bar, you need one. Like if you're opening paint cans or scraping stickers or whatever. It's a lot of fun. And if you're into that kind of thing, then this one's a lot of fun with that oil slick-like coating. Keeping it up though, we have the Van Hoy Snap Lock. And this one's kind of fun because it kind of reminds me of like a wheel lock pistol from long, long ago. You twist this and it literally separates the handle here. We'll see if we can catch it on camera. It separates the handle open and then you pull it back and then it all clasps back into place, which is really fun. It gives you a very secure mechanism, and the more you hold it, the stronger your lock gets. And the only way to close it is to push on that wheel and rotate the blade shut. Definitely an interesting knife. This and the Dactyl are two knives that my wife really appreciates just because of how unique their mechanism is. And I think adding this titanium nitride finish just makes this thing even more unique. Quite the cool knife. If you're looking for a knife that's gonna really pull attention, really show off your knife as something that is not like what most people are gonna see, it's gonna be really hard to beat the Van Hoy Snap Lock with this coating. And the next up we have the Facet. And these ones come in two different flavors. We kind of have this high polish version with the polished standard steel blade, as well as the brightly titanium nitride finished handle, and the more luxury one, which I believe, if it's not sold out, it will be very shortly, the Damascus one, which kind of has a bit more of a matte finish to match the etched Damascus, and it has Damascus pocket clip, which is very fun. Anyway, these ones are a lot of really cool knives with this really interesting coating, and I imagine they won't stick around forever. So if you would like these, I would recommend acting sooner than later because they might go the way of the dodo very soon. Next up, a product I'm very excited about is the Nanohone Nano Truer. And this one is a sharpening stone, but unlike many that you've seen. So these are resin bonded instead of plated diamond. So plated diamond is where they use electricity to plate little diamond pieces into steel. And those diamonds fall out over time, they wear out. But this, instead, is a resin that has mixed into it and emulsified diamond powders. So as the resin wears away, which takes a very long time, it just exposes more diamonds. So it stays sharper and cuts better for longer. They do have stones made for hogging out your steel, getting chips out and everything, but this is a really great way to put a hair-splitting edge back on a mostly sharp knife in just a couple of seconds. You start on the coarse side and just swipe it back and forth, kind of like you would a strop, just a few times, and go on this way as well. And I have been flabbergasted at how well this works, just because of how aggressively the diamond cuts, yet how fine these stones are. It's nice and thin, it's on an aluminum handle, so it's gonna be light, an easy thing to add to your sharpening kit that will save you a lot of time and effort if all you need is to tune up an edge that is already mostly sharp. Very exciting. This is a new brand here at Blade HQ. You should check it all out because their resin bonded stones are next level. I got to sit down and pick the brain of the guy who owns this company at Blade Show. There is so much I've yet to learn about sharpening, and he is a man who's been doing this for his whole life, and it was an absolute pleasure to get to know him. And the last knives we have on the table are from Axial. These are the Shift 3.0s and what they're calling the Hidden White Anodized. So it's kind of this off-white, snow gray color. I think it's really fun, especially with these bronze accents and then a stone-washed blade. The Axials are really smooth to operate and they sound really good as well. I gotta love me some Axial, and what I really like is these pocket clips. These are deep carry pocket clips that I don't know if they're milled or maybe mimmed titanium, I'm not sure, but I'll tell you, this is how you do a pocket clip. They know how to do it really well over at Axial. Anyway, these are here and they're going for $259 at bladehq.com right now. And that is all the knives we have on the table. You can find all of these and more, links in the description. Head over to bladehq.com if you want to see a ton of awesome knives. Make sure you're following us on all the social channels, like, comment, subscribe, and we will see you next time.